Deputy Lieutenant, Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors and members of the public here and at home. There have been many interesting and personal remarks made in the last week about Her Majesty the Queen. I personally never had the pleasure of meeting Her Majesty. I never had the privilege of lunching with her at Balmoral, only to drop cheese on the floor. I never had the opportunity to panic whether it was ham, as in ma'am, or mom, as in palm. I don't have any anecdotes to share of a sweet personal meeting with Her Majesty. But despite that, I feel like I know her well. You see, the Queen I know jumped out of a helicopter with James Bond in 2012. The Queen I know wished me a Merry Christmas every year without fail. The Queen I know never changed. And each of us in this chamber has a different Queen that they know. The Queen I know is not the same Queen as the Deputy Leader knows, or the Chief Executive, or the Leader of the Opposition. But what is truly amazing is that all of us have this shared experience of having the Queen in our lives. There are very few things in this world that we can all say we have in common. But the Queen's constant presence is one of them. She is the shared experience that brought so much, not just to the UK, but across the globe. She was, in many ways, without exaggeration, the world's Queen. She was loved and respected by all for her commitment and unwavering sense of duty. It only takes a moment to study some of the books of condolences, and I've been amazed by the touching tributes that have been left by well-wishers from all backgrounds, from Connecticut to Zimbabwe. We can all find something to learn from the Queen. Her work for the greater good of the country, the Commonwealth, and often the world transcends political divides. Such is her impact. Such is her reputation. For me, it's befitting that Greenwich is a royal borough. All of us know how diverse and international Greenwich is. Our towns are filled with people from all backgrounds and generations. We're a melting pot of cultures and communities that have all lived their lives with the Queen in the background. She's the one teacher that we've all had. Through her relationship with our borough, many are proud of our royal links. In fact, there are royal ties all over Greenwich and beyond. We have heard many interesting and personal stories of the Queen and her visits to the borough. Of the stories told this week, one stood out to me was the one of the Queen's first ever public engagement, which was actually in Greenwich, as Princess Elizabeth all the way back in 1937. She accompanied her father, King George VI, at the official opening of the then new Maritime Museum. Since then, we couldn't keep her away. She's been back so often that it works out to roughly once every 5 years. Sadly, she never made it to Woolwich Works or the Tramshed, but she had explored our borough well. Her late husband, as we all know, had a strong affection for Royal Greenwich and was pivotal in the restoration and reopening of the Cutty Sark. So much so that the Queen actually opened the Cutty Sark not once but twice, in 1957 and again in 2012, the same year she gave us the honour of Royal Borough status. For a long time, I think many of us assumed that the Queen would be with us forever. Her sense of duty, her dedication to representing us, has loomed so large, decade after decade, it seems impossible that she will no longer be here. Last Thursday will be a day that none of us will ever forget. I remember being here in the afternoon, extending our prayers for her good health. But slowly it became clear what was coming. And when we knew, and it was sadly confirmed, we began to make preparations that held me in the town hall until the evening. I finally got home, and my mum said, "Turn on the TV," so she could hear the news. And in my reflections, it dawned on me the significance of her passing, how she transcends generations, young and old. There was something about that moment when the nation was gripped to the TV. Everyone wanted to know what was happening. Royalist or not, it feels like something has gone. It now feels like something is missing. It still hasn't really sunk in. Decade after decade, while the world changed, we had the Queen. We all had the Queen. Countries went to war. Nations were divided. Walls were put up and taken down. We all had the Queen. We went to the moon. We entered a new millennium. We landed on Mars. Our Queen saw it all. In times of deep division, in times of hate and anger, in times of lockdown and panic and fear, the Queen was there to remind us that we will persevere. She'd seen it all and had always been there. And I think she will always be there. Such is her legacy. Such is her reputation. As impossible as it is to think she will no longer lead us, it is equally impossible to ever forget all that she has done. The Queen I knew dedicated her life as a public servant. She led with humor and modesty and empathy and understanding. The Queen I know and the Queen I knew inspires me to lead with humor and modesty and empathy and understanding. Her late Majesty would have been proud to hear our mayor proclaim her son and announce to our residents the new King Charles III, our new sovereign. I know all in this chamber and all Greenwich residents will all wish His Majesty a peaceful and long reign. And I'm grateful that now I do, and if I do, ever get the honor of meeting a head of state, I will not need to figure out whether it's ham as in ma'am or mom as in palm. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I formally move this motion.